I want to show you the parts on a gun that are actually what make the gun break in during the break-in period. Now, you know, you have your gunsmiths and your all your celebrity shooters that are like, oh yeah, you need to take your gun out and shoot it to break it in. Now, I'm not saying, you know, you should never go out and take your gun and shoot it, but I believe you can actually break your gun in without even shooting it at all. And the reason why I'm saying this is I don't want to waste a lot of money to get this gun where I want it, you know, to feel where the trigger to be at, because, you know, these guns are only made to go a certain point without you modifying them and adding spring kits and stuff like that, which I'm not saying I won't ever do, because I plan on modifying this gun because I got such a good deal on it. But this is for all you guys out there that are like the budget guys that, you know, say for instance this was the only pistol that you could afford and it's the only one you could buy and you couldn't buy anything else and you couldn't buy any parts for it extra. The only thing you could barely afford was the ammunition, and you just wanted it to be at the house. I mean, you know, this is just a scenario. It's not, you know, say it's going to happen, but you just had to buy. You can only buy the ammunition for it to keep it at the house for personal defense, and that's all you want to do with it. Well, usually on stuff like that, people who have a personal defense gun, and I'm not saying all people, but they leave the gun hidden somewhere and just have it loaded, and if they don't, you know, it's at the ready or whatever. That way, if somebody tries to intrude on their property, they just grab it and go. Now, to me, I believe that you're not going to shoot your home defense weapon as much as you would shoot your EDC gun. But that's just me. So, you know, let's get back to the topic here, and I'll show you the parts that you can do, or the parts that actually cause your gun to break in. So this is a striker fire pistol, which, you know, most polymer guns are now these days. And you can see here the trigger assembly and the linkage and all that. So I kind of want to get a close-up here and show you. If you watch the trigger linkage back in here, that's what actually activates the disconnect for the sear on the top of the slide to release the firing pin. It's a spring-loaded striker fire. So what happens is when you click your trigger, this lever that's connected to the trigger, the linkage, when you do your trigger, it pushes this sear or disconnect or whatever you want to call it back, and it slides down this right here, and that's your striker, which actually plunges forward because there's a spring in there that keeps the tension down, and it plunges forward so hard it makes the firing pin extrude out the slide here. So I want to show you the parts that you can actually kind of, I shouldn't say grind, but polish to help you break in your gun quicker without actually going out and spending a lot of time and money for ammunition. Because I know ammunition's not, you know, 9mm for instance is not that bad, but you know, you get up in the 357 SIG, 10mm, 45 auto, all them, you're going to spend a little more money per box of ammo unless you reload and stuff like that. But let's just say everyday shooter or average Joe. And so what you're wanting to do is why it doesn't get broken in. You know, when you shoot it, it gets broken in because you're wearing these parts, you're wearing them down. You're going to take you want to take something. If you're wanting to do this, now that you know everybody do this at their own risk, I'm not responsible for anybody's, you know, if you do this at your own risk, this is up to you. But I'm just saying, you can actually do this to break in your gun, and I'm going to show you what you do. So here I have like a little diamond steel that is basically a knife sharpener. It's a knife steel, diamond coated steel. And the parts that are actually catching is the ones that you want to actually touch. Like that ramp right there is what you want to actually touch with this. And then you want to touch this kind of ramp, and there is what actually catches that and releases it. And once you get to the point where you feel like it's grinded, because I actually just polished off the paint. There's paint on this. And sometimes the paint, when it doesn't dry right or it gets bubbled up, it kind of creates a grittiness feeling. And that's what actually causes you to, causes the gun kind of feel funny at first when you don't have it broken in yet. So you can see it looks like the actual metal, like I've shot it a couple times, and the actual metal rubbed against that and caused it to, wear a little bit. And that's what you want. You want it to wear. That's what causes it to break in. So once you get it done polishing it with some type of either a polishing stone or something like that, I rubbed it down with this other knife stone that I have. This is an actual honing stone, and I rubbed it down on this to even polish it even more. So the more these items are polished in this gun, every gun's different, so I'm not saying this is for every gun, but these parts right here are going to be smoother, and that's what's going to cause your gun to feel broken in.